meeting, so please respect everyone's comments. Thank you.
And now I actually.
Leah Larson, you're here, right? Yeah. Leah, when we call the meeting to order, I want to ask you if you would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you. We'll give you 1 minute to prepare.
Just say hi, everyone.
Hi.
I said hi. Hi. Oh, yeah.
That was Mrs. Weibel's recommendation, so please don't be.
She was the first one in.
She was the first one. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order, Mr. Tatum. Sure. Everyone, please stand. Leah?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome everyone to our December 12th meeting. And at this time, we'll turn it over, Mr. Statement, to you for opening comments.
Sure. Well, I'd like to welcome all the students and parents we have here tonight and for some special recognitions. And I don't want to take away thunder from our athletic director, Mr. Jones. So I'll turn it over to him for the presentation for tonight.
And we have three separate presentations, one for our girls soccer team that was in the Final Four in the state, for an individual that made the cross country states, and then an award to a team and kind of a community for a special sportsmanship recognition for field hockey. First, we'll call you up, come up, grab your certificate for being in the states with that, and then we'll do cross country first. I believe Alex Keller is at a meet tonight, a indoor track meet. If Mom would like to come up and get his award, certificate. Alex Keller. The sport of cross country and one of the states representing Sequoia Valley. Next will be our girls soccer team that went to the Final Four. You know, the award and the accolades that this group did in seniors, what they really achieved over the last, say, 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, how far back they go with youth soccer, and time, and energy, and not just representing us as soccer players, but fine young ladies. Representing on the field in every possible way. It was just such a joy for myself, the community, to watch you and how you represented us. So in recognition of achieving the state Final Four, we have some certificates for you. Coach Dan George. Allison Crandall. Hello. Leah Larson. Hannah Noel Leonard. Alyssa Price. Kirsten Shepard. Ava Williams. Ella DeChavo. Catherine Jugway. Addison Lazaric. Daria Kartonovich. Alicia Radipevitz. Julia Zagarelli. Michaela Land. Leah Leonard. Tristan Williams. Cameron Yearman. Allison Brennan. Isabella Carnevale. Nora Palil. Afton Shepherd. Afton Sherman. Sorry. And Sophia Zagarelli. As you can see, we have an indoor track meet happening tonight, a girls' basketball game happening tonight, so many of our athletes are in participation doing something else, so that's awesome, they're doing other stuff, but congratulations, thank you. Some new seniors, good luck. Thanks, Coach. Yep, jump in there. Stop. Cool.
I just wanted to say thank you, everyone, for following along and providing these girls incredible support and encouragement. And then, like Coach Jones said, I was just at the indoor track meet. We had 4 girls basketball team, and it's quite filled with opportunity, but then also then they go on to the next sports. But they are we're very proud and thankful for your support. Thank you.
Next was a pleasant surprise. I received an email maybe 3 weeks ago that our field hockey team was awarded what's called the Van Swearigan Award. He was a longtime official in the area that passed away a few years ago. Did many Sequoia games. So they named an award for sportsmanship that's given to a team for field hockey from whatever they cover in their board, just short of Syracuse to just short of Watertown, down towards Cooperstown, and different things. So it's a huge area, including all the teams in the field hockey. And specifically, I received this. I'm representing the officials of the Utica Board for Field Hockey. The varsity team won the Van Swearigan Sportsmanship Award for this past season. Out of all the schools of our official seat, Sequoia got the highest vote. This is a great accomplishment. It shows they have learned to be respectful to other teams and officials. Hats off to you, the coach, and the parents in the community. I'd be honored to, I'm sorry, she was going to be honored to present it, but she couldn't make it tonight, so I'm presenting it. So with the following, field hockey will come up when I call your name. Stand up here. You'll be given Utica Board of Hockey Officials and Swearigan Sportsmanship Award 2023 Sequoia Valley. Team representing Coach LaSalle. Isabella Canarelli. Emma Hinman. Julia Burton. Ashley Bradbury. Olivia LaSalle. Sydney Marceau. Zoning. Eileen Hansel. Lucy Miller. Alexandra Allen. We had a first-year coach filling in this year that did an awesome job with the girls. The girls respected, did an awesome job. The schedule this year was very difficult, and that's something that they can be proud of. Sometimes a record doesn't indicate how well a team does. Okay, this is a sign of positive step that they took for the program moving forward, and just really proud of your accomplishment for the sportsmanship award and everything you did. Thank you.
Joe, congratulations again, everyone. Pennsylvania Valley, very well. And you're welcome to stick around, but you're also welcome to exit.
Good night, girls, and thank you for coming.
Thank you, guys.
It's always a pleasure to see you.
See you.
Probably get over it.
I don't think you ever will.
Racing Red Hawk, Mr. David.
Yes, we're fortunate to have Ms. Accordino and Ms. Hannah tonight to discuss the Racing Red Hawk.
So the Raising Red Hawks was born from the idea from John Nicotera. He approached Jamie Lee, myself, and Laura Hoffman and asked us to facilitate a running club or an intramural type group at the elementary and middle school level to boost interest in the sport of running. And it was a great success. At the elementary level, we had 44 kids sign up from 3rd and 4th grade only. We met for 6 weeks. We had warm-ups, relays, but the kids just wanted to run. We had guest speakers come in. We talked about nutrition. We talked about goal setting. We talked about just personal goals too. You know, that not everybody's going to run as fast or run as far. Some of the kids just walked for a couple of weeks or ran by the end of it. And then we also had a group of 3rd and 4th graders that were running over 3 miles by the end, really pushed themselves. So the personal goal setting, we talked about the social aspect of running, nutrition, I think I might have mentioned. But the best thing of all is I see kids in the hall. Now we've been out of it for about 6 weeks. Will ask me, when are we gonna do this again? Are we going to do this in the spring? I really loved running. And so Laura and I have talked, and Jamie Lee agrees too. We really would love to do this again. We want to thank the board, Mr. Staten, and the administrators at both the elementary and middle school for allowing us use of the facilities. And it's something that we're definitely going to try to coordinate again in the spring with another 6-week session to keep that interest going.
And yeah, just to kind of report, I guess, on the middle school side, because we do run on different schedules, so they ran, like middle school ran immediately after the middle school bus, so that the middle school kids could actually hop onto the elementary bus to try and get a little bit more interest, because sometimes that'll stop kids from being able to participate after schools if they can't get a ride or something like that. So the middle school ran earlier than the elementary school. And then we opened it up to 6th through 8th grade, but only had 2 7th graders. And then for 5th and 6th grade, we had 34 kids sign up with roughly 27 coming every single week. We did the exact same goals. We coordinated speakers. So whatever speaker came to middle school also went to elementary school. But at the middle school level, I kind of pushed a little bit more of the competitive side to maybe get them ready for cross country or get them ready for the track side of things as well. So we did kind of go over like cross country finishes and starts and, you know, how to be supportive we did that a lot. Like if you're not running the race, like you should be out along the field encouraging everyone to keep going and push themselves. And same thing, I have kids all the time running by my room like, when do we get to do this again? So we're really hopeful that we can do round 2 in the spring. But it was a lot of fun. It was great. Yeah.
I think it's awesome because we are trying to grow the program. It was pretty pitiful. This year, the people who, you know, that we had, just the size of the team.
Right.
But it would be awesome though to get them to a couple of the home events on our track in the spring, really get them interested. They're so much fun.
And we did have small talks, but since it was like the beginning and we were still trying to work out like the flow of things, we did talk about like, how could we somehow get them to a home cross-country meet? And so those are conversations that are kind of in the works moving into the spring. It didn't quite transpire in the fall, but yeah.
Yeah, cross country's a little bit harder than around the track here.
We'll have the big track meet in the spring, so we're gonna have that invitation also, maybe we can get some of the kids come out to that. Watch.
I'll help chaperone if you need.
Thank you. You got me.
Thank
Thank you.
I just want to thank the beginning because, I just had more teachers get involved, some of the administrators were running, and these two lead by example, because if you're out there in the summertime, you can see, well, not just the summertime, but I've seen them both out on the roads jogging, that's part of their lifestyle too, so they are role models for this.
Perfect fit for the program. Thank you both for your time, and Laura also. You also received some donations, right? Community donations?
We did. Hannaford donated snack one week. Amanda Meza from the snack rack donated protein balls for snack one week, and she also was one of our guest speakers and talked to the kids about nutrition. Carrie Tibbetts donated popsicles another week. So we had several donations of snacks.
And then we had a monetary donation from the Sequoia Valley Foundation where we went and purchased apples and chocolate milk and like, so every week there was always like a small nutritional snack piece as well. So yeah, every week it was something was donated for the kids to walk away with.
Josh Belisle came and spoke to the kids too. He was another one of our guest speakers to talk about proper athletic footwear. Because they were obsessed with the spikes at the elementary level.
And I will say from the middle school aspect too, at one point I thought it was gonna be hard for me to find other staff that maybe wanted to, no, every week I had plenty of teachers that were like, do you need help this week? Yes, like, so every week I always had at least 2 other teachers, or as Mr. Staten said, like administrators, like Mr. Madden was in the mix a couple weeks. And so I just thought it was really great for the kids to see that too, like all these adults in their lives, just getting out and being active and encouraging them to do something.
So I recall you had perfect weather too, right?
We did. We really did. We didn't have to.
Soccer
cancel one
played
week.
one day, it rained, field hockey played, it rained, you guys ran, it was 80 degrees.
Which was the week we got the hospitals donated.
Yeah.
I know, yeah, it's hard back then.
Thanks again. Have one more.
Okay.
I'm here tonight, Ms. Babby.
Yeah, we will do our senior trip, and I want to thank the board for adding us onto the agenda. You were already kind of packed full, but we're hoping to start our deposits, take our deposits in January after our Utica fundraiser. So thank you for including us tonight. You guys were already busy. Does anyone need a copy of our itinerary? You would like a copy of the itinerary? I'm not sure what was included in the board packet.
I would like to.
I have some of there. Yeah.
I'll take it if you have one.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Is there a few minutes here as well too? You guys are good on this side? I know how things go. With our email, we don't always have a chance to send something once a week. That's all. Okay, you are welcome. Okay, so what you guys are seeing in front of you is the itinerary that was prepared for us by our new travel company. The gentleman that we worked with before for years, Frank Fasicas, from Impact Tours, he's retired. So Mr. Sheldon did good work in sleeping out a new person for us. Tours by Design is someone you guys may have been on tours that she's put together. She does things locally for others. She'll take groups various places, overseas, etc. to do that. And what she did for us was put together a 3-day, 2-night adventure to head down towards the Jersey Shore. We did our survey, as we always do every year, asking our seniors what it is that they're interested. I'm seeing the camera go, so I'm going to step out of the way so that it's not adjusting. Every year we do our survey of our seniors, asking them where it is that they would like to head to. We repeatedly hear that they very much enjoy spending time with each other and they want the sun and the fun. So you'll see that our trip that we've put together has a lot of that for them. We're leaving, hopefully with your permission, which is the reason that I'm here. Thursday, May 30th, first thing in the morning, we're gonna head down. We'll have a hail bus that will transport us down towards the Showboat Hotel and Island Water Park down. I believe outside of Ocean City, New Jersey, is close to where we're headed to. This is, I guess, a neat hotel in that it has a water park right built inside of it. So when we get there, they'll have the opportunity to explore that part before we head out onto the boardwalk and onto the ocean beach area for a period of time. Our dinner is included that evening. They're going to be headed on a historic ghost tour after that. We'll head back to the hotel. In the morning, we're going to be headed for the beach itself, where we'll spend time on the boardwalk. There's lots of different activities that are there, so the students have the opportunity to post up on the beach with us, which is where we'll be, but they'll also have within guidelines the ability to go and explore on their own as well. We'll return to the hotel, and then we're headed down to the historic Philadelphia Harbor, where we will take a dinner cruise, and they'll have the opportunity to explore from the boat the historic Philadelphia Harbor that's there. We then return, and then on our way back, we're headed to the American Dream Mall. If you have a chance, if you haven't been already, check out the website for this place. It's pretty incredible. Like, there is a ski slope inside of it. I have never skied before, but this might be my opportunity to do that. Ski slope, snowboarding, ice skating. I believe there's roller skating, movie theater, mini golf. I can't even keep track of all of the things that are in there, but there's a range of activities for the students. The cost for the trip, for the bus, for the hotel, and for a portion of the meals is $634. I know Mr. Nicotera is going to ask me that question. We tried to build the trip so that it could flex and flow depending on who it was we were able to bring with us, what interests that they have. We wanted to keep the cost manageable rather than to build in a lot of activities that not every student might be interested in participating in. But that's the beauty of the American Dream Mall, is that there's something there for everyone, from about $5 for free, if you just want to wander around the mall and see, up to about $50 if you didn't want to spend the day skiing. But you have the ability to flex and flow depending on your interest and then just what you're interested in investing in your adventure that day. What questions do you have for me? What are your questions?
How many days of school are they missing?
2, Thursday and Friday, same as usual.
And you're back Saturday night.
That is correct.
And this is the first time you've gone here.
Yes, this is the first time, and this is the first time that we've worked with this company as well too. Ocean City is enjoyable, but it's a long, long drive for them to go to as well. So this was something that was closer for them as well to do.
I've done work with Tours by Design. We had French club, Spanish club, go overseas with them.
Yeah, she's up Remsen Way.
They're wonderful.
She's a lovely lady, yes.
You mentioned a survey. Did you survey just the kind of activities the students would like to do, or did you survey other locations?
We did locations as well too. It's usually, and it's like you're narrowing down based on the kind of activities that they're interested in. We're always tied to how far the bus can go. Whatever the regulations are, the bus driver can only drive so far in one day. We would love to be able to go to Florida, but that's going to like make your cost go up significantly because you have to hire in an extra bus driver to do that. So that's why we kind of stay within the area that we do. Boston, Philadelphia, Ocean City, we've been to in the past. Years ago, when Mrs. Drake was senior class advisor, they used to go to Virginia Beach, and then I'm forgetting the name of the historic city that's down there.
Williamsburg.
Thank you very much, that they went to many times. That's now cost prohibitive for us because we would need an extra bus driver to do that, which is why we don't go that far anymore.
Can they bring fishing stuff?
Absolutely, yes. There's plenty of room under the bus.
I just have a question for
Sure.
Mr. Collins. What kind of liability would we need for a librarian to go skiing in a mall?
Come on, Mr. Statement. You know what, I'm touched that you're concerned about that. Thank you.
How many chaperones go on this trip? Is it?
The 4 of them,
There's 4 chaperones?
4 chaperones, because usually we'll have about 30 to 45 students is the max that we can just fit on the bus without having another bus to do that.
Oh,
Yes. What happens if there's more students that wanna go?
Then we have another bus. We actually had that happen in 2015. We had so many students that we had another bus.
Oh.
It does impact the cost though, depending on how many, because now you have two buses
Yeah.
and that then gets divided out over however many students that there are. We'll take as many as we can get.
And Mrs. Babby, their fundraising will help reduce the cost per
Yes.
child.
Yes, and that's something that I can say about this particular, all of our classes do their very best to do their fundraising. This class is coming in fairly well fundraised. There are individuals who do have a significant portion of the $634 already covered for them. And that is why we waited on this until January, because we have our final fundraiser in January is the Utica Coffee fundraiser. So that's that last push. Here's this other opportunity for you to raise funds in order to help pay for your senior class trip. We'll have taken care of for many of them, they're capping down already. So that first little cost is taken care of and then the rest they can spend on their trip to do that. So we do strongly encourage, and I know the other two class advisors, Ms. Riley Stewart and then Ms. Carangelo, who handled the junior, sophomore and freshman classes, they do at their class meetings, always regularly push. Participate in your fundraisers. This is your opportunity to pay for your senior year. They even go so far as to cost out. This is how much a yearbook might cost you. This is how much your graduation expenses are. So they really do try to encourage throughout the years that this is your opportunity to help take some of this burden off of yourself and off of your family as well to do that. Other questions that you have? Okay, if some of you think of something afterwards, just let me know.
Was it last year or 2 years ago? There was an overlap with one of the
That was last year.
last year
Last year,
with the band, right?
yes.
Are we in the same predicament this year?
But I do not believe so. You guys have, you have different information. Is the band going to New York City this year? I don't. Two, I don't believe so.
So if they don't go this year, there's no
They'll
conflict
go,
with you.
they'll go next year.
That's good. Thank you.
Of course, thank you.
Mr. Nick, I think we have one final presentation tonight from Mr. Collins. I have a bigger copy.
Okay. I will share the screen, but the board members all have this presentation in front of them. Just want to put it out there for people at home to be able to view it. First page that you have is the calendar for the budget presentations that I can't do two things at once, so I'll do it in a second. First page it had on the presentation, and also with a separate sheet, is the budget calendar. And you can see that, you know, we have started already back in October discussing the budget. But in January, on the 16th, we will start the formal presentations. It would kind of be some of the information that you've already seen, hopefully with some updated numbers. But you can see January 16th, the 30th, February 13th, March 5th, March 19th, and then if everything falls into place on April 2nd, we'd be looking for the board to approve a budgeted number to present to the community for vote. If that doesn't work out, we do have opportunity on April 16th to move the board approval to that date. So that's kind of where we are at this point in time. And I will, at this point, the way I've got it set up is I'll present the information as I always have. Questions that come up, or if there's different information that you want as we move along, certainly my goal is to give you what you need to be able to make the decision. And that's, you know, kind of how we've been presenting things up to this point. So keep that in mind. If you have questions or do want other information, even before we get started, certainly let Mr. Staten know or myself, and we'll make sure that we do include it in any of the presentations going forward. Okay, all right. Next couple of slides. Again, we have updated the information a little bit, talking with administration and fine tuning some numbers, but still a long ways from where we want to be. You may recall we were at a little over a $27 million budget. I think it was previously, or a little under. We're getting closer, but we're still a long ways away. This is still a 7.76% budget increase. You can see the numbers there. I won't get into any details because really numbers will change as we move forward. But the other side of that is with those numbers, what would our tax levy be at this point in time? And again, state aid, we are unsure of at this time. The governor doesn't present her information until mid-January. So that will change. The other revenues probably are not going to change a lot. The fund balance numbers is something the board can discuss. And you can see that still would require at this point a 13% tax levy increase. Numbers are extremely tentative. 13% will not be the final number. We will do the work that we need to do. Hopefully there will be more revenues that will come in, but whatever the revenue number is and whatever the board's decision and direction is on the tax levies, the administration will do the work that they need to do to present a budget to get within the numbers that you're looking for. So a question that came up, well, this is what we would need to, if the budget were to be raised 4%, we would still need to reduce 784,000. You can see if we raise it 5%, 10%, it would be $267,000 gap still at this point in time. You know, many of those numbers are achievable, but I don't think that we're going to be able to get down to 2.34% and find $927,000. And that's what we'll start to get into at a later date. The question that came up, so if we do raise the tax levy by this percentage, what does it mean to a taxpayer with a $100,000 assessed home in each of the communities or in each of the townships of our school district? And you can see 1%, you know, is fairly minimal. $24 in the town of Paris, up to $36 in Marshall, and in between there throughout most of the communities. You can see the 1%, 2.5%, 5%, 7.5%, up to a 10%. Tax levy increase. Now, as I cautioned the last meeting, this would be if equalization rates and assessments stay exactly as they are and have been for 23-24 into 24-25. That never happens. So that's why I am always a little hesitant to say, yeah, we're going up 3%. That means your tax bill will go up this much. You know, it doesn't work that way. Equalization rates shift the tax liability amongst townships, and then the numbers change. And that's what this next slide really illustrates. First, I'll call your attention to the third column over. That's the column that we've looked at many times. That has been our tax levy increase from 2012-13 up to 2023-24. You can see in 12-13 that 2.27%, the first percentage number on the left-hand side, down to this past year where it was 2.16%. You take all 12 years that the tax cap has been in place, the average tax levy comes out to 2.45% district-wide. You take that by each of the communities, you can see the town of Paris was 2.45%, but all of the other communities were actually less than that. And that's because of the equalization and assessment changes. So the thing I want to caution about again, if we take a look at that 23-24, that last row at the bottom, where our tax levy this year is $8,608,000. That's a 2.16% levy increase over the prior year's levy. In the town of Paris, that was a rate increase of 2.34%. In New Hartford, their rate actually went down. So if your assessment didn't change and you had a $100,000 house, your tax bill would have actually decreased in the town of New Hartford. And you can see those numbers are fairly reasonable most of the way across until you get to the town of Marshall, where you can see a 7.45% increase. The shift in the equalization rates caused them to get a significantly higher portion of the tax liability, and that resulted in a very significant rate increase for them. Each community gets that, it looks like every now and then, just because of the shifts. But if you take it over the long term, you can see that the overall increase on average is still at or below what our tax levy increase has been for the school district. So always my caution when we say this is what the levy is going up, what it means to you because of those shifts in equalization rates. And I'll leave that there. Any questions on the last two slides at this time?
This is annually, yes, Charlie?
So annually?
Yeah, the dollar amount here that.
Yes, that would be the annual increase. 1% would be $21. Yeah, $24.10 for the town of Harris. Yeah. Like you said, $241, 10%. You get the bill once, but you know, it's like, okay, divide that over 52 weeks, it's $5 a week, or a little bit less than that. but it's still a number. It's a significant number when you get that. So with that, I don't really have a lot more. That was the question that came from the board from the last meeting, I believe. I'll just quickly summarize again, revenues and expenditures are going to change again. When I show you the numbers on January 16th, I'm hoping they will be a little bit better, but we won't have a lot of new information at that time. We've had discussions at the administrative level. Not all of the discussions that we've had have been captured in this picture tonight. So we certainly want to see what state aid is going to do and what other things are going to occur over the next 30, 60 days before we start to take some of the steps that were discussed at the administrative level. Second and third bullets here, as we've talked about many times, the grants are leaving us after this year. We've got 4 individuals, and we also have some programs that are about $295,000 that have never been part of our general fund budget that are captured in the numbers for these preliminary numbers. That 295 would be an increase of about 3.43%. So if we've got a cap of 2.3%, that doesn't even allow us to fund the new positions or the positions that have been paid for out of the grants historically. And then we obviously have other increases for our personnel and our benefits, et cetera. The question that I really would have for the board, and I know that Mr. Catelli brought up a number he was pretty, I think, I don't know, comfortable with, but talked about last week was around the 5% number. I don't know if the board as a whole wants to talk about that at any more tonight. You don't, that's fine. But where you land on the number is what will be a significant help to the administration taking the steps that they need to do to get within the number the board will support. Any questions for me, or I'll leave it up to you guys at the moment. We're good? Okay. Leave it at that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Collins.
We'll move on to Board of Education Subcommittee reports. Mr. State, I know we met tonight.
Yep, so the policy committee just had a meeting before this meeting, and we'll be bringing forth policies for approval on the next board meeting. Also, we did just receive an email from the state today with some state data for 3 through 8 assessment testing that we've been waiting for. So in January, we'll be scheduling the curriculum and instruction subcommittee meeting. And then I want to maintain the monthly meetings in addition to the policy committee, so we'll probably start at the very beginning of facilities and transportation for the board operation. Next month, just be prepared for another subcommittee, definitely curriculum instruction, and I'll get some dates out for that.
Thank you. Superintendent's report. Update on our Board of Education meetings for the coming month of January.
Sure, as Mr. Kelvin said, well, he showed you the schedule of the calendar, so I won't repeat that, but beginning next month, we'll be having 3 meetings that will start heavily on the budget discussions. I also want to propose, in the past, when we've had budget discussion meetings before the board, those meetings start at 6 o'clock, and then the board meetings start at 7 o'clock. Sometimes the budget discussions last right up till 7, and we smooth transition into the board meeting. Sometimes they're done maybe by 6:30 and there's a gap. So what I would like to propose is that we potentially start the board meeting at 6 with the budget presentation at the beginning of that board meeting. And then when that ends, we just maintain the agenda and move right into the board meeting. If that's acceptable.
Yeah, Dave talked about that earlier tonight. We all thought it was a good idea for us.
It's Mr. Collins' idea, I can't take that.
Well, the other option was to come out one other night and do a separate night. I don't think we want to do that.
Yeah, separate.
We'll go longer, but we'll get it done in 1 month.
The 6 work. Yeah, you know, meetings are.
And whoever can get here at 6, and if not, we respect, we all have other commitments, and if you're here a little later, it's not a problem.
You don't want that to be the reason people don't get to hear about the budget.
No, I know.
I mean, they will be recorded, but I mean, as far as the board, it means full board participation.
So that would begin January 4th, 16th.
Charlie, just to go along with that, and I should have asked when we finished your presentation. We met last week, School Board Institute at BOCES, and there's a Zoom meeting this Monday night with an official from New York State.
Words or
No, it's
SED?
SED. Well, what they're gonna do is they're gonna present the state outlook, the fiscal outlook for the state of New York,
Okay,
and how that'll impact us. I have the information, I'll forward it to you if you're interested.
yeah.
But it was highly, highly regarded. It's not what's gonna be projected towards us as much as what is the state of the economy in New York State?
Sure.
So I'm gonna try to join that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. President, in front of you, you do have a thank you card from our school-related professionals unit. Thanking us for the breakfast pizzas we delivered on SRP Recognition Day. So I don't know if you'd like to read that.
Oh, it's very simple. Dear Mr. Staten, members of the Board of Education, thank you for the breakfast pizza in honor of our programs and our bargaining unit and on Recognition Day. The pizza was enjoyed by all, sincerely, members of the association. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure providing. It's also a pleasure to receive a kind thank you.
So the SRP unit did appreciate it. And on that note, just remind everyone on the board, the board holiday breakfast / dinner will be occurring next Tuesday, December 19th. So in past years, we'll be delivering again breakfast to all staff throughout the buildings and the transportation department in the morning. I think I gave you the times for those. So if anyone of you would like to attend those and just a quick shout out to the employees, that would be great. And then we'll do the same thing in the evening for the maintenance staff that's on.
And if we can, we'll communicate amongst ourselves on who can go at what time, so we try to have every slot covered. Whatever fits your schedule, but we should be able to do it.
Tuesday?
Tuesday,
Yep, December 19th,
I think we start here at 7:20,
20 at the high school and the middle school.
and we're not here long, it's a matter of 20 minutes. Then we went to the bus garage, another group started at the middle school, because the times are very similar. And then we finished at we went to the bus garage, then we went to the elementary, and then we came back at 6 o'clock at night for 20 minutes.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, I think that's it. Any old business?
Yeah, so I just wanted to very quickly thank the staff, the students, or the community members who supported the fine arts and craft show for the PTO. The numbers were back to pre-pandemic numbers. They, generated a lot of revenue. That's the biggest fundraiser for the year. I think we discussed the other night at the PTO meeting, they spent about $30,000 giving back to the schools over the year. So this was definitely a needed and welcome fundraiser. So thank you for everyone that supported that, either through attendance or selling or purchasing. Also, the middle school held their honors breakfast last week, and parents were very appreciative to be back in person for that event. It was held 4 days throughout the week. Each grade level was held on a different day, and pretty much every morning it was standing room only. It was just great to see the support from the parents come to these events. So I say thank you for your support there. The parents were very, very appreciative to be back in person. Very well received, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Staten. We'll move on to the consent agenda. And I will read 7.1 through 7.17. If anyone has any items of concern, please let it be known as we go through it. 7.1 is the approval of an additional athletic appointment. 7.2 is the approval of a tenure. 7.3 is the approval of a leave of absence. 7.4 is the approval of appointment of a long term substitute teacher. 7.5 is the approval of the appointment of a substitute teacher. 7.6 is the approval and appointment of a substitute teacher. 7.7 is the approval and appointment of the substitute building maintenance mechanic. 7.8 is the approval and appointment of a school bus monitor. 7.9 is the approval and appointment of a laborer. 7.10 is the approval and appointment of a permanent auto mechanic / bus driver. 7.11 is the approval and appointment, to accept the equipment use agreement with a third party. 7.12 is the approval of a correction action plan. 7.13 is the approval of a budget modification. 7.14 is the approval of the minutes of our November 14th, 2023 meeting. 7.15 is the approval of our treasurer's report of balances. 7.16 is the approval of a resolution authorizing payment of our bills as approved by the claims auditor. And 7.17 is the approval of our Committee on Special Education recommendations. Does anyone have any item they'd like to discuss?
Pull 7.11.
We have a second. Patty, discussion?
My wife Ken works for city and rents that space, so I want to keep myself.
Thank you, Mike. Any other items?
I just wanted to just point something out on the 713.
Yes,
I think that's wonderful that Jackie was able to secure that grant for us. I mean, I don't really know a lot about it, but for her to do that and make that little contribution is awesome. So thank you to her for that.
very nice comment. Patty.
Yeah, I'll say Jody Hildreth, you will remember, he was here for many, many years and everyone loved it, but Jackie Barletto has really done a fabulous job.
Everybody keeps talking about the library and I'm very eager to go see it because I've heard that it's beautiful.
Yeah, she does a good job. And then we have to, give props to Ms. Babby, who's been mentoring her. And
It's all
No, but she's she's done a lot of work.
It's great.
We do appreciate it.
Yeah,
Anytime a teacher or a staff member can go out and secure.
yeah,
That's great.
go above and beyond like that. It's wonderful.
Okay, all right, may I have a motion to approve 7.1 through 7.17?
So move.
Mrs. Weigel, second, Seacon, any discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Mr. Sam. Motion is approved. Miscellaneous items, Board of Education members?
I have a question. A parent,
Yes.
actually a couple parents had brought up to me, and I don't know if it's been visited before in the past. There's an app out there that has like GPS tracking for buses. It would be just the bus that your child would be on to kind of keep an eye on like timing, especially with the cold days. There are parents that have very long driveways. They drive their kid out, wait sometimes upwards of, it could be 10-15 minute difference sometimes. And I know that myself just from my my youngest one's pickup, but it's called Bus Rate. I don't know cost. I don't know if there, like, I'm sure there has to be some kind of cost involved in that. But I know Mount Marco School District uses it. I don't know other school districts use that, but it's nice because you literally can see perfect timing, location, and then in these cold months, you can get your kid out there, you're making a turn on a road that's, there's 2 stops between that and you, that's time to go out instead of waiting outside in the cold, for that long. And as soon as they get cold air, it seems like you gotta go to the bathroom. So then you're hauling butt in, untaking all the clothes off, going to the bathroom and hoping to make it back out there in time for the bus. So I just thought it might be something that we could look into. There is a spot on there where I can email you, where it's like a generic letter. It will say, dear Mr. State, the parent in your district is thinking that this would be a good app for your school district and probably more information for you in that
Spell the bus right.
Is that something that goes on each bus, or is it something would be
No,
in the
it's,
bus
it's,
garage?
no, it's on the bus, cause it's a GPS, it's a GPS, so I don't know if there's something that our buses might already have the capability of, maybe it's already in there or something like that, and we just have to link it up, I don't know. But the app is bus, BUS, and then RIGHT. So, I can send, you the app.
Okay.
And then on a completely different note, I was told that, it looks like PTO is gonna be going with, Boulevard Graphics for their, merchandise, for sale. So there should be an online store at some point soon, that has lots of things, and they do embroidery, and not just screen printing and such. It's supposed to have more options for people to be able to purchase. I was hoping it was gonna come out before Christmas, you know, to be able to purchase stuff as Christmas gifts, but I don't think that's the case.
Mr. Sack, was that the item that you and Ron were referring to, and Lynn? As an alternative? This will be a third choice then?
Well.
Oh, yeah,
more
so
than that,
you're gonna have plenty of different
Yeah.
organizations that are going to be.
This was
selling
PTO specifically, I'd
Which is
asked, I'd asked. the
different than
question.
sports boosters,
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's different than the,
the item that we were.
that we were discussing. That's interesting.
I think the more the merrier.
Yes.
You can
Yeah.
literally take that graphic design, link,
Yeah.
and you can buy your own thing. I mean, I like the flexibility of it. I'll just speak for you have more options. But I'll check out both our graphics.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything from them, but I just know that it was, yeah, they were, and I think it's a 2-year contract that they've had with them, so.
Yeah,
that's the one
this
that
is
they
nothing-
decided upon.
Yeah, this is nothing new though, because in the past, the PTO has their own.
Yep.
portions that they're growing, and then the PE teachers do an order for staff.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. Anybody who wants to jump on the Stoner mug bandwagon, everyone always buys mugs, and I'm totally up for a mug with a school logo on it.
Mugs and trail cups.
I am on that one mug, so I will do.
Me too, because we got a box in the basement of my thrown out mugs.
In case you ever wanna use them
You
again.
never know, one might break.
Not sure.
Every few months, I'll never have a mug lids disappear anyway, so always more.
We are going to meet in executive session? Yeah, I want to make sure, are we going to?
Yeah. Okay, we're good.
I had an item of personnel concern, but that'll be addressed in executive session. The other thing is, I'm fortunate that I walk the track almost every day. And again, there's another big patch that's bubbled up. But I don't know what the problem is. I don't think it's the company that sealed it, right? Because they just did the surface.
Deeper than sealed, but.
Yeah, I mean, they fixed the one on the home side. Yes, now there's one on the visitor side, about midfield, 50-yard line. It's that wide. I mean,
And it wasn't like that last week.
no, this just happened maybe in the last month or so. I think once the frost came. So I don't know.
Yeah, well.
This is gonna be an ongoing issue. I
Yeah,
think.
cross-country coach texted me a photo about a week ago, a new area.
I don't think they even know about this one.
Well, some of them, the company that laid it actually came in and trained our staff on how to fix some of the areas.
So was this an issue prior to the replacement? Or this is just something that's kind of happening since having it replaced?
It's happening, well, it was getting degraded, the track to begin with, and so they did. I don't wanna say they put a Band-Aid over it, but they put a coating on it that we knew would be a few-year patch,
So
and
the
eventually,
resurface,
yeah.
it wasn't.
Yeah.
Eventually, we would have to redo the whole track again, but we thought that would be a 5-year plan.
But it's actually worse.
Well, I wouldn't say it's worse.
Well, I think this,
Were we having these issues prior to the resurfacing?
I don't know. I think the track was in such poor condition
Yeah,
that you just assume they happened over time. I don't know if they were.
Like, if you were to walk the
continuing
track last spring, and if you were to count all of the blemishes, you wouldn't get around the corner. Like, there were that many holes and things of that nature, but yeah, I understand, I mean.
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, other than, I think this one popped up in the last 3 weeks, 2 weeks with the cold, you know. I don't know how we address it. I don't know how you prevent it. I don't think you can. Other than we have to address it. Now, they did do one, in fact, the chair is still on the track. They fixed it, but another one's popped up now.
I just
Anyway.
the company back out in the spring after the fall. So,
I don't kind of, I don't know if it's their fault.
right,
It's like painting, if you paint over a wall, it's peeling. It's gonna last for a couple, you know, a short period of time. But once that peel begins to start the process again, it seems that's what's happening to the track, but anyway. Okay,
all right, we ready to pull some tickets?
we're ready. Public to be heard. Anyone we welcome. Mary, public to be heard? No?
Don't see a lot of tickets. We'll let Mr. Collins pull. Ticket.
Did everybody get it?
You have a copy of your ticket? You're supposed to, okay.
I have the last time. Who did it? 702.
You can pick somebody else. I went last night.
Well, I'm gonna have more than one.
Oh,
You know, it's Christmas, we'll give away.
oh, you're generous. Thank you.
So this is through Cavallo's. We like to keep it local.
Thank you.
I'll be expecting an invitation soon, Ms. Keller. All right, we'll do
Next month's meeting.
one more, Mr. Collins.
That's a great idea.
Mary, did you win again?
701. Yeah. Gift card to Willowdale Diner.
All right,
We
awesome.
like to keep it local.
That's awesome.
What a nice gesture.
Well, Christmas.
You know, we have a young man in the audience who was not here when he received the certificate.
We do have a young man in the audience. Alex Keller was recognized earlier tonight for making it to the state championships in cross country. Now, Mr. Jones has a certificate for you. I've got a handshake and a hug for you. And I think your mom's gonna take you out to Cavallo's to celebrate. It all works out.
The mom gave an excellent acceptance speech on your behalf. Okay, need a motion to go into executive session?
To discuss negotiations.
Mrs. Collins, second. Mr. Second, Mr. Crittell, all in favor? Thank you, folks.